Good morning to Not a Lawyer podcast. Rise and grind. It's an early one. It's a super early one. As you can see, the sun's still not up yet on this side of the planet. Um, Good morning, everyone. We're here for Nolan Wells. We're here because Ben Crump announced yesterday that the preliminary findings from an independent autopsy report that was ordered on behalf of the family will be in today, and the press conference is in half an hour, 8 p.m. Central Time. Okay, so let me share this real quick with you guys. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Yesterday, I was having so many complications with my stream. Hopefully, we're good to go today. So let's take a look at the give me one moment. Let's go ahead and take a look at this announcement. After I sip my first cup of coffee. Yeah, let's get started. Here we go. So Ben Crump is to announce the preliminary findings from an independent autopsy in the death of Nolan Wells. Chicago, July 21. This was yesterday's date. As I said, it was announced yesterday. Nationally renowned civil rights and personal injury attorney Ben Crump will join the family of Nolan Xavier Wells at a news conference Wednesday at the 117th NAACP National Convention. Crump will announce the preliminary findings of an independent autopsy conducted on behalf of the family. Nolan, who was 18, traveled by boat with friends to Horn Island, Mississippi on July 4th to celebrate the holiday. When the group returned to shore, Nolan was not with them. On the morning of July 6th, a U.S. park ranger found his body at the northwestern tip of the island. On July 18th, the NAACP National Board of Directors adopted a resolution of condolence for the family that calls on local, state, and federal authorities, including the U.S. Department of Justice, to complete an in-depth and openly transparent review of how Nolan came to be left on the island and of all activities in the hours before his body was recovered. All right. Parents are Christine and Elmore Wansley. The attorney is Ben Crump. The president of and CEO of the NAACP is Derek Johnson. Again, this will be held in Chicago, 8 a.m. Central Time, which is in a half hour from now. Okay, so that's good to go. Hello. Buenos días, Amy. ¿Cómo estás? Hi, John. Hi, welcome in. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's move on to something else. Yesterday, I was checking out Miss Tisa Tells. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tisa Tells, but there was some very interesting information that she shared with us. So I want to go ahead and play her video. Let me share my screen. Now, this is interesting. This filing that was done by Ben Crump and his attorneys is interesting because this here.
Hey guys,
this here that was filed July 20. Let's see if I can make out the date here. July 20th, on Monday, there was a petition to open the estate, appoint at appoint administratix. That's what it is. Um, Grant letters of administration and for other relief. Okay. So this was a petition done by mom, Christine Wells Wansley, so that she can be the administratix and administratrix. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So what that means, she is able um, to handle everything belonging to Nolan Wells' estate. She can handle, and therefore they can file a wrongful death. They can file a wrongful death investigation. Why is this important? Let's listen in. Tisa Tells will tell us why this is important. Let me go ahead and play this.
New breaking information and what's going on in the Nolan Wells case, and I guarantee you have not seen what the actual play in this is. Okay, what am I talking about, you guys? Nolan Wells' mother has filed to open his estate. If you don't know what that is, we'll talk about in a second. With filing to open that estate, if you read the filing, there's some interesting information. How is that relevant to anything that's going on in the criminal investigation? If you guys don't know, the FBI has gotten involved saying, oh my God, stop bullying those children. Everybody has gotten involved to throw a cloak of protection on those poor, sweet boys that was out there with Nolan, the best of friends. However, this changes everything, because while they are stonewalling Ben Crump and Nolan's family on the criminal part, I think, my opinion, that the state of Mississippi wants this to go away. With her filing to open Nolan's estate, it looks like they might have a way to conduct their own investigation and get to their own truth. And I'm talking about Ben Crump and Nolan's family quicker than anybody ever imagined. You guys, say what you want about Ben Crump, but he has been doing legal kung fu. And the state of Mississippi and the FBI haven't seen this coming. But this new development linked to her opening the estate.
Ben Crump is playing chess, not cornhole. Ben Crump is playing chess, not cornhole. Got that?
Literally could bring the criminal case finally for us to get some justice. Okay, let's get into this. Now let's talk about what opening an estate is, okay? When somebody opens an estate, okay, so when you open an estate, it gives you legal standing to sue. A deceased individual cannot legally file a lawsuit under state laws. A formal estate must be open in probate court. So a personal representative or administrator, in this case, it often is a parent, but in this case, it actually is Nolan's mama, can be officially appointed. Only this appointed representative has the legal standing to file a wrongful death or survival action on behalf of the estate of statutory beneficiaries. Now, some people are saying, oh my God, it could be anything, because you open an estate also when it comes to splitting up assets. But we all know Nolan was a young boy. He did not have any money. He didn't have any assets. He had nothing. On top of that, the mom specifically put in the filing, in the documents I was showing you, that the whole point of this is to open a war chest. However,
this almost feels illegal to know if you're a side sleeper. What I've discovered could save you from a massive mistake that's crushing your body while you sleep. If you're sleeping in a position like this, you got to heal from a massive mistake that's crushing your body while you sleep.
Going to the actual legal documents, the filing specifies on July 20th, 2026, Christine Wells Wansley petitioned to be appointed administrator. Because there is no will, spouse, or children, she is designated as the sole heir. The purpose of the estate, the document is...
Let me read this that she has open here. But let's freeze her so she looks pretty. Okay, there we go. Legal standing to sue. A deceased individual cannot legally file a lawsuit under state laws. A formal estate must be opened in probate court. So a personal representative, which is Christine Wansley, Nolan's mom, or administrator, can be officially appointed, which she was, according to that document, on July 20th. Only this appointed representative has the legal standing to file a wrongful death or survival action on behalf of the estate. Could you imagine? I'm telling you, this law firm has made all the right moves. I am thankful for that.
States that the estate consists solely of claims for damages tied to the circumstances of Nolan's death.
Nah,
Okay.
nah, you're right. You're
Now,
right though.
keep in mind, this is an administrative.
Nah, hold up. You're right. You're right. Hold up, chatter. It's free to think said. Nah, fuck that. He said, nah, fuck giving Crump props before we see the results. He still got to show and prove before you give him flowers. You know, you're right. You're right. Because could you imagine? Could you imagine if those autopsy results says that it was an accidental drowning? So what was all this about? Like he put on a I don't know. I'm just gonna let's just wait. We have 15 more minutes. Let's keep playing this, and then we'll go to the live conference.
Necessity.
Have going.
Keep in mind, when they open this case, and it looks like they are going to open a civil case, a civil wrongful death claim functions entirely separate from criminal charges. It operates with a lower burden of proof, preponderance of evidence, rather than beyond a reasonable doubt. Preponderance of evidence, I believe, means just 51% more likely than not. But it does require concrete evidence demonstrating that specific actions or omissions by others directly contributed to the tragedy. Now, let's look at Ben Crump's magical juju gumbo, whatever you want to call it. So what does that have to do? A civil case. Tisa, what does this have to do with the criminal case? Because we want these boys, whoever's involved, I'm assuming it's boys, put behind bars in Nolan's tragic death. I'll tell you what it has to do. And this is why Ben Crump is worth every penny. And this is why, as much as many people try to copy what he does, he is one of the illest and realest to do it. Because if you guys don't remember, and I'm sure you do, right? Nolan's former friends are refusing to communicate with his parents regarding what happened to him. Refusing to communicate.
Warren has spoken out. Warren, who is the Ashley Cole's stepson, has spoken out in an interview. We're going to get to that after the autopsy findings, okay?
And by refusing to communicate with the parents, they are, hold on, y'all, my puppy. Okay, I'm back. All right, so hear me out. When they say they are refusing to speak to the parents, what they're saying is they are refusing to speak to the parents in any legal capacity. Ben Crump has been trying to get them. They all lawyered up. Ben Crump said, come with your lawyers. They said, no, sir, we're just going to sit here and mind our business. So Nolan's people that were around him when he passed away are the only way to actually find out what happened to him. It doesn't matter if they lie. Ben Crump is an amazing lawyer. He has an amazing legal team. They can see past the lies. They just need them to say something. Now, I'm not going to go into how I think this might be linked to the autopsy results that I believe Ben Crump and the county of Jackson County, Mississippi, both had those autopsy results. I'm not going to say that I think the reason they are scared to actually say something, to my opinion, they are afraid to say anything to Crump is because they will be able to skillfully take whatever truths or lies they give them and match it to the facts, find inconsistencies, and if put in front of a grand jury, they will be going to court. I think that's why they've completely shut up, because anything they say, lie, truth, or whatever, will get to the matter of what happened to Nolan. So Ben Crump and Nolan's family, Mississippi, that Jackson County are like, yeah, checkmate, because what you gonna do? Nobody's talking to you. No information is coming forward. I know they did give that reward of 50 or 100,000. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere here.
I was experiencing brain fog, hot flashes, mood swings, low energy.
Okay. I'm just going to read some.
And what this suit actually does. So they're like, all right, checkmate. Ain't nobody talking. Ain't nobody this. Ain't nobody that. I said in my last video, I did think.
Okay, so someone said he's Nolan's best friend, but never been to his house. I don't know. I don't think it's, yeah, that's weird, right? I doubt that. That's so weird. Thank you so much, Nicole Nardillo. Gracias for the sparkles. Appreciate you. What about the rest of the friends that were there? No one has spoken out, only this Warren kid. I'm going to play that interview after the autopsy press conference. I'm going to play it. We're going to try and dissect it. We're going to figure out what happens, okay? He was asked directly, straight up. He was asked in that interview, tell me what happened on the 4th of July. We're going to listen to it. We're going there after the autopsy conference. And then London says, it's still weird his friends know nothing, allegedly. His mom said he didn't know Warren. It's so crazy. It's all lies. It's all lies. Why, like, if you see his funeral not proceedings, but if you look at his wake and everything, the line of people, all of the kids that were there to see Nolan, none of those kids that were on the boat with Nolan went to see Nolan that day to pay their respects. I think that says a lot. Of course, they were advised not to, but I'm sure, I mean, if that's your friend, if that's your truly, if that is your friend, how do you miss your friend's funeral? I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't believe it. All right. So let's see what's going on this live. It's still showing live press conference. Nothing is being set up yet. We still don't have audio or anything. So I'll switch over to that once it goes live. Let's continue with Tisa Tells here, because this is super interesting. And this may perhaps be the next move the parents take. You know, we don't know yet, but it's interesting that they filed this estate paperwork. It is interesting.
That when the FBI and the governor of Mississippi came out and said, we don't see anything going on. As far as we know, it's all, as a matter of fact, y'all harassing anybody that you ask questions or if you investigate. They're trying to squelch the situation. It had a chilling effect on people coming forward, either because they're like, oh, if I just hold out, I'll have protection. We can't all go down, or people that are scared saying, oh, well, I don't want to go against the whole town. Like Nolan's gone, but I still live here. So how do you get people to talk? How do you get about that? How do you conduct your own criminal investigation parallel to what the Jacksonville police are conducting? Well, you guys, and let's give our hats off to Mr. Crump. You open a civil investigation. How does that work? Well, let me tell you. Again, this was brilliant lawyering. Let me get to the details because it's important. I don't want to misspeak. Okay? Now, listen. Noun. Again, keep in mind, opening an estate is standard and practically mandatory legal prerequisite if a family intends to pursue a civil wrongful death suit. Okay? Now, here's the thing. You have power of discovery and subpoenas. Once an estate is...
Listen to this. You have power of discovery and subpoena. Do you understand what that means, you guys? That means that Ben Crump's defense team, the defense team, can go ahead and request for the discovery.
It's established, and it looks like it's going to be established in record time. And a personal representative name, which is Nolan's mama, which I'm sure she's going to name Ben Crump as her representative. That representative gains the legal authority to issue subpoenas.
Could you imagine this? They will then have the legal authority to issue subpoenas.
Demand records, depose witnesses under oath, and conduct independent discovery. Woo! Y'all, let me repeat this.
She said,
What
"Whoa."
again? I don't think Mississippi thought this was coming. And I don't think Ben Crump had the mental thing to be like, okay, so y'all trying to basically keep me out of this investigation. Nobody wants to talk. It's none of our business. If we actually go and talk to people, you're calling that harassment and it might come with federal charges. How about this? We're going to open a wrongful death civil suit. Okay? And because we opened a wrongful death civil suit by the executor of Nolan Wells' estate, which is his mama, which I'm sure Ben Crump will be the legal representative. Let me repeat that. They literally have found a way to legally conduct their own criminal investigation in real time that not only can lead to the civil conviction, but it can literally provide ample evidence for the criminal investigation. Ample evidence for the criminal investigation. And Mississippi has been hollering at Ben Crump to hand.
You know what? That's facts. That's facts. I need to read the entire law. But Mel Gilham here says only when and if the autopsy reveals a crime. Facts. I have to read the real law, but are they able to? I mean, how about if they file a wrongful death suit? What if they file a wrongful death suit? Are they not privy to the discovery? You know? All right, let's continue.
Over the autopsy, because once they have the autopsy, they can check the case. Well, we have the witnesses, we have the autopsy. It looks like it is. Ben Crump is like, we don't got it yet. We're still working on it. Is your autopsy done? And Mississippi is like, well, I mean, and he's like, yeah, that's what I thought. Call me when yours is done, because I'm interested to see what it says. Don't forget, both autopsies must match, or the chief medical examiner that gives an autopsy that doesn't match with another authorized, certified pathologist. Those are the people that conduct autopsy. In DC, medical examiners in DC says that goes even more into corruption. But again, they now have permission. Once it's established, and it will be established very quickly, all right?
Wow. Okay.
POV. You have bottom-heavy breasts that refuse to stay up.
I hate when this happens.
If your breasts have
Oh,
lost
boy.
volume at the top and feel heavy
I don't know.
at the bottom, you probably have.
Okay, we're almost done here with these teasers.
They have now they will gain legal authority to issue subpoenas. So all them boys that don't want to talk, oh, we're busy. No.
Thank you.
Bring yourself to the Crump Law office. Sit down and let us know what you know. Demand records. No more with the tow truck people being like, well, we don't know. We're with the boat, maybe. No, they can now demand records from the police in an ongoing investigation from everybody that was around, subpoenas for everybody that was on that island if they want. And the records from the Coast Guard, from the boat towing, from docks, from everything else. Even demand records from the.
You guys, we haven't talked about it yet. But guess what? Did you hear that the tow was called off? The tow was called off. We need to get into the nitty-gritty. After this conference today, what I want to accomplish is we're going to listen to the conference. Then what I want to do is I want to play Warren's interview. Then after Warren's interview, what I want to look at again, I want to look at the footage that's been circulating with that boat that they're saying that it could be Nolan. Someone spotted Nolan. So I want to play that. And one other thing I want to look at the map again, where he was found. I want to listen to the call that was placed. And I also want to, the last thing I want to do is listen to the press conference where the family discusses their interaction with Nolan's friends when they went to pick up the phone and when they went to pick up Nolan's car keys. All right. So hopefully we can get through all of that today. But first things first is the autopsy report. It's Free to Think says the state being unjust is what needs to be highlighted. The people that are misrepresenting us need to be removed. Then we can start doing the state by state until America is actually for its citizens. Yeah, what happened to that? What happened to America first, right? What happened to us first? It shouldn't be about, you know, any other race being first. We are all humans. We're all the same. It really sucks. There are some legit questions as the chain of events goes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. And what is the Black community going to do when his death is ruled an accidental? Exactly. Not accepted. And why are the Black community hoping he was killed instead of being an accident? I don't see that. I don't see that. I see people wanting the truth is what I see. But maybe I'm looking at it from a different lens, perhaps. But I see people wanting to get to the bottom of it, wanting to know the truth. You know, I I'm not seeing like people dragging these boys, maybe maybe my feed or what I'm looking at. I'm not seeing the media dragging these boys. I'm not seeing that at all. You know, I'm seeing the family wanting to get to the truth. And that's a good question. What would happen? So say the theoretically, or just let's just say Ben Crump comes out here and says that the results are an accidental drowning. Well, I believe that there's evidence that they will file a wrongful death suit. That's why I'm playing this video, because it's possible that that may be their next step. Maybe that they're filing a wrongful death suit, is what I'm thinking, Leslie. Thank you for joining in. They won't accept it. You don't think so? I, I mean, I've seen some black creators talking about it, and some have said we just want the truth. It doesn't matter. We'll accept it. If it was a wrongful death, we'll accept it. So I don't know. Hi, Leah. Thank you for checking in. Oh, Leah, Leah, when you first came into when I was covering this like last week or something, and you came into my live, you mentioned hazing. You mentioned hazing, and it sparked my interest because I know these boys are freshmen in college. So, as far as the fraternity, I don't know where fraternity is the standard one for in that college they go to, but I really want to dig into that idea. Thank you, Leah. Yeah, we people just want the truth and an actual investigation. True, like an actual investigation. Arlene, Arlene, you have to remember. Arlene, you have to remember that that the sheriff was quick to rule this an accident. The same day his body was found on July 6th, he came out to the media and said that um, there was no evidence of foul play. That can rub a parent the wrong way. If it's your son and you see all of these inconsistencies, all of these not inconsistencies, or the stories are not making sense, as a parent, that is offensive. I believe, in my opinion, they didn't accept Carmelo. We still have to get into Carmelo, you guys. We're not done reading that motion. We still have to get into that case. There's a lot of cases going on. The Celeste Rivas case also is going on. with Ben Crump and Tyler Perry and Al Sharpton offering 100K, they are looking to create a criminal narrative. I think they're just desperate for answers. Could be that they're just desperate for answers, but I appreciate your views. Honestly, I appreciate your views. Thank you. Thank you so much. Lucy Goosey, hi. Hi, Lucy. Okay. Next. So disingenuous thoughts from pale people. If it was vice versa, pale people would be burning things and harming others without any evidence to even justify the actions. We are not the same. Okay. Yeah, you think so? I don't know. Why do you think we're not the same? I think we are. I think we are. All right, let's continue. Let me finish up here with Tisa Tells and see what she ends up
phones, from communications, from the GPS, for the phones, for them boys that was walking around really worried about Nolan. Did anybody return to the island? When did y'all really leave? What was actually going on? Anyway, they can depose witnesses under oath and conduct independent discovery. Whoa, they can gather evidence independently of police files, but the police must take it into consideration. I know that's right. Now, keep in mind, the wrongful death compensates the family members for the direct losses,
Wait, what
such
did
as
you say
loss of
about there right there?
consideration, and conduct independent discovery. Whoa, they can gather evidence independently of police files, but the police must take it into consideration.
They can gather evidence independently. Interesting. I'm going to Google that while she's
I know that's right.
on here.
Now, keep in mind, the wrongful death compensates the family members for the direct losses, such as loss of companionship, mental anguish, and financial support. A survival action is a little bit different. It addresses the pain of suffering or economic damages the descendant experienced before their death. Both typically require a recognized estate representative to act. You guys, this is very, very, very strategic. And you know what else is strategic? When they hired Ben Crump, I truly do believe that, because he knows the way things go, and forget about sundown town, in the sundown state called Mississippi, right? He knows the way things go in the sundown state of Mississippi. And I think that they had this ace in the back of their pocket from the beginning. I think they had it from the beginning, because listen to this, right?
Wait, you don't write anything down after conversations?
This is Pocket. I never go anywhere without it. At the tap of
Okay.
a button.
I
The
Googled
public
it.
statements or legal teams, Ben Crump, they strategically emphasize details, how he was left behind. From the beginning, they've been saying he was left behind.
Okay, I
separated,
Googled it.
isolated from a group.
Let's take a look.
It does lay the groundwork for establishing a negligence or a breach.
Okay, let's take a look if this is correct, because yeah, this is very interesting information, and I want to read the legal. I want to read the legal stuff to it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. The human race. This is played out. What's played out, Jason? What's played out? The human race. There's one race. Yeah, we're human. We are human. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. A lot of skin. Yeah. I'm so sorry, Lucy. I mean, this is just this case has brought out a lot of like racial tension. I don't think it's necessary. I don't. It's sad. I will say, in defense of what he said, it's the Black people that are speaking out about hazing and rituals in the frats and sororities. They are denouncing it. The white people in the green share the white people in the Greek system are slowly coming around. Yeah, I noticed that, Leah, how more Black people are actually speaking about the hazing. That episode on your channel, that episode. You covered this so well, so perfect. I thank you so much. Um, I learned so much in that episode. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Um, Carmelo's case had its own inadequacies. The bullying should have been handled differently before even escalated. However, this is not the topic for today. Absolutely, London. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your commentary. I'm in awe of those speaking out against the Greek system. Really, Leah? Really? Really, right? Isn't that? Because you wouldn't think they would. There is a ton of racial stuff going on in many places. It's not just white and black. Agreed. Agreed, Lucy. Thank you. All right. So, where the hell is Ben Crump? All right. So, while that's happening, I'm going to share this and let's take a look at this and read what it has to say. Yes, in Mississippi, those are generally two separate issues. One, the authority to bring a wrongful death lawsuit, and two, the family ability to conduct its own civil investigation. Can Christine Wansley, as executrix of Nolan's estate, file a wrongful death suit? Yes, potentially yes. Under Mississippi law, an executrix or executor, okay, it's interchangeable. I'm glad because I don't like the executrix word. I'm going to say executor. All right. So, under Mississippi law, an executor often has the authority to bring claims on behalf of the estate. Mississippi's wrongful death statute is somewhat unique because it also identifies certain statutory beneficiaries, such as parents, spouse, children, depending on the circumstances, who may recover damages. Now, if Christine Wansley has been appointed by the probate court as the executrix of Nolan Wells's estate, she may have the authority to, she can file claims on behalf of the estate, pursue survival type claims, and participate in or initiate a wrongful death action for the benefit of all statutory beneficiaries. Whether she files solely as executrix or together with other statutory beneficiaries depends on the specific probate and family circumstances. 2, can the family conduct its own investigation? Yes. This is extremely common in high-profile wrongful death cases. The family or their attorneys may hire private investigators, former homicide detectives, accident reconstruction experts, marine experts, if boating is involved, digital forensic experts, cell phone forensic specialists, GPS analysts, medical experts, and forensic pathologists. These experts can independently evaluate evidence without waiting for law enforcement. What evidence can they gather? Subject to legal limits, they can gather evidence such as witness interviews, sworn affidavits, photographs, videos, publicly available GPS or mapping data, social media posts, cell phone records, boat maintenance records. Marina surveillance footage. I have been screaming about this. I'm like, wait, one moment. You're telling me they can't figure out if Nolan Wells got off the boat at 4:30, whatever time they left Horn Island? You're telling me that there's no footage of Nolan getting off the boat at the marina or wherever they docked? It's gotta be. They have to pull those videos or ring cameras, whatever the hell surveillance they had. Yeah, I'm so happy that their family is standing strong to get answers. I mean, That's why I said, like, people are like, don't rush to give Ben Crump flowers. But had they not hired Ben Crump and made and given this, um, given his son, given this kid so much attention out there in the media, perhaps this could easily have been ruled an accidental drowning. End of story. End of story. Just like that. Because it's happened so many times, you guys. Where's Ben Crump? Anything yet? What time is it? Over there in Chicago. Hold on. What time is it in Chicago right now? It's 8:13 a.m. Oh, okay. So this is that. Okay, it's coming up soon. It's coming. It's at 8:30. Yeah, pretty soon. Okay, so next. Where am I? Now, yeah, as I was saying, this here, the marina surveillance footage, that's huge if still available. Oh my God. That's huge. I mean, as a law enforcement, as a detective investigator, these are things that should have been immediately subpoenaed, immediately a warrant should have been out for it, these for the surveillance, right? Next, they can also gather expert analysis of the scene. Autopsy revealed by the independent forensic pathologist, which we're going to hear the findings, the preliminary findings today. That's why we're here this morning, bright and early. Toxicology review. Now, this can take a couple of months. This can take some months. And we'll hear Ben Crump tell us as to the toxicology results, how much longer it'll take or whatnot. Marine engineering reports. See, that is interesting. What is meant by this? What do you mean by this? Let me Google this. What is meant by that? So, what is a marine engineering report? So, marine engineering reports are formal technical documents that detail the condition, the performance, or specifications of a vessel, offshore structure, or marine system. They include damage assessments, pre-purchase surveys, and technical analysis, and are crucial for classification societies. Oh, okay, and insurance claims. Oh, okay, so what this may be, it's like when you get your vehicle like registered, how it's examined by the motor vehicles. I'm assuming something like that. Interesting, because you know why that's interesting? Because we're being told that the boat was something was wrong with the boat, which is why they called a tow. So if something was wrong with the boat, why wasn't that boat investigated? Also, Nolan was on that boat. Nolan was on that boat. Wouldn't you think that the boat would be like, for example, let's take Idaho 4, for example. There was the white Elantra, right? Now, obviously, that's evidence, right? And the law enforcement seized the white Elantra. Why weren't they able to seize this boat and inspect it? Is my question. Why wasn't that done? We still don't know who the boat belongs to exactly either. It's free to think. Check all their phones. It all there. It's being dragged out on purpose. Why demons don't need knowledge. Yeah, they should subpoena all their phones. I agree with that. I agree that those phones should have been subpoenaed. I believe that Brent Crump is the defense attorney handling this investigation, Leah. That's his law office. Um, he may have an attorney leading the investigation, but he's like the spokesperson for his legal whatever, for his business, whatever you want to call it. So where was I going with this? Those phones. Yeah. So exactly. Like you said, the phone should have been subpoenaed. Yeah, totally. I mean, if these were the last people that were said to be with Nolan, Nolan, in fact, slept over Warren's house on the 3rd. All of these guys that were close to Nolan on this day, I agree that their phone should have been subpoenaed because in that way you'd be able to rule them out, right? You have to be able to rule out persons of interest in investigation. I mean, we don't have to tell the detectives how to do their job. They should know how to do their job. They should have subpoenaed all these phones and ruled everyone out. Everyone that was there are immediate suspects to me, in my opinion. Okay. Now let's move on to, it says here, once a lawsuit is filed, they also gain access to the civil discovery process, which can be broader than what the public can obtain. Can they obtain evidence that the law enforcement has? Good question. Not automatically. An ongoing criminal investigation generally limits access to all of these. Okay. However, after a civil lawsuit is filed, they may seek relevant information through discovery from defendants or third parties, unless a court determines that disclosure would improperly interfere with an active criminal investigation. Can they subpoena people? Once a wrongful death lawsuit has been filed, yes, baby, they can subpoena people. Bro, I mean, this is just answering. It's free to think. It's free to think. Backing up what you're saying here, check this out. If a wrongful death lawsuit is filed, these kids can be subpoenaed. They can issue subpoenas for documents, obtain phone records from carriers. Could you imagine this? Could you imagine this, you guys? This is going to get ugly. This will get ugly if it goes that route. This will get ugly. Could their investigation uncover evidence not found by law enforcement? Yes, that does happen. If Christine Walmsley has been formally appointed as executor of Nolan Wells' estate, then she and her family's legal team would generally be in a position to preserve evidence, conduct an independent, retain forensic and marine experts, interview witnesses, review the autopsy, prepare for potential wrongful death litigation if the evidence supports such claim. If a wrongful death lawsuit is filed, the family could use Mississippi's civil discovery rules to seek evidence from parties and witnesses subject to any protective orders or limitations imposed because of an ongoing criminal investigation. Wow, 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 wow. This is a bombshell, and thank you, Tisa Tells, for bringing this up to our attention. Yes. Yes, Leah, could you imagine this? Hey, what's the matter? Wow. Okay, so let's finish off this interview. We're going to finish this off, and hopefully in 10 minutes, they're ready to go. I'm getting the blue screen still.
Breach of duty of care case. Now, keep in mind, in civil law, the plaintiff, when you get to a duty of care, you guys might not know this, but in America, if you see a crime going on, as long as you did not help commit, orchestrate, or you do not cover it up in any way, you don't have to get involved. If you see a baby being whatever, you can just go on about your merry business. Morally, it is reprehensible, but legally, you didn't have any obligation. The only thing to that is if there is a duty of care. What's a duty of care? You have some type of codified moral obligation, which turns into legal obligation to help that person, a parent to a child, a babysitter to a child. If I say to you, hey, can you watch my laptop while I go to the bathroom? I want to make sure it doesn't get stolen. Do you mind? And you say, yeah, I'll watch your laptop for you. Don't worry. Go to the bathroom. And then I go to the bathroom.
She went heavy on the ads.
And then your friend comes over and grabs my laptop. And then I'm like, yo, what happened to my laptop? And they're like, so what? You should have, no, you made a duty of care by agreeing to look after my laptop. Again, if somebody comes in with a gun, nobody expects you to throw yourself in front of a bullet over my laptop. But if it was something that you could have said something, done something to actually protect the merchandise that you said you would, you have now breached a duty of care, and I can go after you saying, I would have never gone to the bathroom if he had not told me he was going to look after my laptop. Where does this come into? There are only so many authorized duty of cares. However, friends that offer you a ride on their boat, they are offering you safe passage. By being on that boat, they are giving you a license that they will exercise reasonable care to get you from point A to point B. Now it gets more, it says in civil law, a plaintiff must generally prove that someone owed a duty. Now you can say with the friends offering the ride to the boat, and oftentimes when people say the boat, it is an unspoken expectation that you expect a ride back, right? Or if you are friends and this and that, and you see somebody drowning, it is unspoken expectation that you will extend a duty of care and help them not drown. I'm just throwing out hypotheticals, right? So you must prove that someone owed a duty, breached that duty through action or inaction, like watching someone drown, and that this breach directly caused the harm or prevented a timely rescue. For instance, if Nolan did go missing and you knew and you did not give a reasonable standard of care to report that he was missing in a timely manner, that also could have caused his death. Highlighting the timeline of separation and the handling of personal property like his phones, his keys, and everything helps Ben Crump's team build a narrative around accountability and gather evidence to test through those depositions. But more importantly, everybody's talking about Nolan's phones. They now have access to his when this happens, to his friends' phones, to the parents' phones, to text messages, through logs, through deletion, through their conversations with the police, through their conversations. What do you see what I'm saying? As they start making their civil case discovery investigation, they have access to more than they ever would have had access just playing Mississippi's games and folding their hands and waiting for whatever the grand jury decides. You guys, listen, this is fantastic news. Congratulations again to Ben Crump's team. Shout out to Nolan Wells and his family. They are not just taking this lying down. Again, nobody knows when it comes to these sundown states how things will go, but we know that they are giving Nolan's memory, legacy, and his honor a fighting chance.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Tisa Tells. So before we it's still going. Look, I'm getting the blue screen. Let me share. See? Blue screen. Oh, here we go. Here we go, guys.
Good morning. Good morning. Far too often, our young people are confronted with challenges, and many jurisdictions and states don't take those challenges serious. We cannot allow another individual, particularly a young Black man's death, go uninvestigated. We have seen this happen over the years, not only in Mississippi, but across the country. It is unfortunate that our young people only seek to enjoy life, and as a result of participating in activities no longer have life. For the NAACP, we take this and many other cases serious because every person matters. I want to thank the Mississippi State Conference, particularly Alitra Perryman, for working with the family and supporting the family on the onset. Because it's difficult to lose a loved one, it's even more difficult to navigate a process when all eyes are on you. And the pressure of balancing between grieving and navigating is upon you. And so for the NAACP family, this is our role, is to step in, to support when the families have an issue like this, and the local officials seem not to hold people accountable. It's unfortunate when you see news reports and law enforcement officials are repeating what individuals are saying as opposed to investigate the individuals who gave you the information, because you don't know who was involved or not involved. Amen. And so narrative matters in this case. And we're saying that in Nolan Wells' situation, the narrative should not be it was an accident before there was an investigation. The narrative should not be the words of individuals who went on a boat to the island with him, but they came without him, but with his cell phone, and you don't investigate those individuals. We're not accusing anyone of anything other than the state of Mississippi and local officials. We're accusing them of being derelict in their duties. To follow up and to ensure that regardless of what happened, that there was the proper investigation so that this family and that community could be assured that if anyone was involved, they would be held accountable. And if it was truly an accident, that the families will have the necessary answers that any family deserved in this situation. I want to bring to the podium Attorney Benjamin Crump, a friend of mine who have stepped in to take the case and in support of the family to ensure that they get the answers that they deserve, and that local officials and anyone involved will be held accountable to this family, to that system, because we are all parents, siblings, to loved ones who should not be confronted with this reality. Attorney Crump.
Thank you very much, President Derrick Johnson, for your leadership, for the leadership of the Mississippi Conference of NAACP, and being there during the homegoing services to help the family go through what no parents want to go through. Thank you to Chairman Leon Russell, my longtime mentor from Florida, who helped raise so many of us. Thank you for always being there, Chairman Russell. As President Johnson said, I'm Attorney Ben Crump, representing the family of Nolan Wells, but it's not just me, it is a team effort of incredible, dedicated lawyers and investigators and paralegals. Attorney Lisa Park, attorney who you'll hear from in a few minutes, Attorney Eric Hertz, Attorney Gary Buchan, Attorney Camila Moore, Cliff Jones, Jared Presson, Alan Williams, our whole team of people who are committed, as I said, President Johnson, on this ferocious search for the truth of what really happened to Nolan Wells.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
But before we begin to discuss the intricacies of the preliminary findings of the independent autopsy, we think it would be appropriate for you all to hear from the people who knew Nolan Wells best, so they can thank you themselves and tell you about the trials and tribulations that they have been enduring since July 4th. July 4th would never be the same for them. I bring to the podium Nolan Wells' mother and father, Christine and Elmore. Please give them a warm NAACP welcome.
First of all, I want to say thank you all so much. Thank you to President Johnson as well as Chairman Russell. This has been a difficult journey. Losing a child, it truly breaks your heart. It is a pain that is just, you can't measure it. Especially someone like Nolan, who brought so much joy and light and life to everyone. You don't find too many genuine people like him. So to lose that light at such a young age under these circumstances has been absolutely difficult, which is why we've gone this route. There's so many people out in the public asking all of these questions, but the only question that we have is what happened to our son. That is the only question. We have consistently been degraded by the public. There's been questions about our parenting, our GoFundMe, this, that, and other. I've been called a racist. I am a healthcare provider, and I take my job very seriously. I love everyone. And it's been difficult for us, but we are leaning into our faith, leaning into one another, also leaning into all of you. There are not enough thank yous, not enough appreciation for what you guys have done for us. And we do. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. And so it is our hope that our local authorities will do what they need to do, because us having the preliminary autopsy results and hearing nothing from them, it's heartbreaking and it's concerning, which again is why we are here, why we have asked for this help. So again, thank you all so much for your support. We appreciate you. We really do.
Wow. Here we go.
Every day I wake up, it's a new challenge. Knowing that a part of me I will never talk to, I will never hold, I will never play around with or get mad at, is not here anymore. Nolan brought a lot of joy to our family. He was the wittiest one out of everyone. The clown. He loved to put in the work because he wanted to be the best. He wanted to make me and his mother proud, and we were so proud of him just for being the person that he was. He was loving. All his teachers knew him, but loved him. He walks in the room, his aura, you're automatically drawn to it. Never met an enemy. And if they were, they would eventually be friends.
Hi, Layla. I'm so sorry,
they would eventually
Layla.
bond, and it's gonna be hard.
Where did he pass,
should be
Layla?
at football practice right now. Calling me after practice, Dad, I made this play, or I made that play, or I get a text with 3 or 4 videos of him doing this, running this route, making this block. And what you think I should do? and I will give my honest, because I always tell them, if anyone is going to be totally honest with you, it's going to be me. And it's not because I'm being mean, but people outside your family are going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to know to make you better.
Well, in Colorado, oh wow,
It's going to be hard for our family from here on out. And like I said, every day is a challenge. We're going to miss our son. And like my wife said, we just want honesty. We want to know what happened to our son, because the things that you're telling us, that's not the character of our son.
I don't
We
know,
know
you
our son.
guys. From
I
the
understand,
sound of
our children will do things that, they will kind of dumbfound us sometimes, but the things that we're being told, there wasn't Nolan. So please keep us in your prayers, keep him in your prayers. And we're going to keep pushing and fighting until we find answers. Thank you guys for your love and support.
Amen, amen. You guys, it doesn't sound like a drowning. The way this is going, it's not sounding
Thank
like
you
a
so
drowning.
much,
Let's see what
Christine and Nolan. Christine and Elmore, Nolan's mother and father. Before we start to go over the preliminary findings from the independent autopsy, we will hear from Attorney Lisa Park to tell you about who was the forensic pathologist who conducted the autopsy. Attorney Lisa Park.
Thank you. Dr. Roger Mitchell could not join us today, but we felt it important before we reveal and unfold this report that you understand who conducted this autopsy.
Good.
Dr. Roger Mitchell is a physician and board-certified forensic pathologist with 2 decades of experience. He currently serves as the president of the National Medical Association, which is the oldest and largest group of Black physicians in the U.S. Most recently, he also served as president of Howard University Hospital, chief medical officer of the Howard University Faculty Practice Plan, and chair of the Department of Pathology. Before joining Howard, he served as chief medical examiner for Washington, D.C. from 2014 to 2021, and is later as interim deputy mayor for the public safety and justice. Dr. Mitchell has conducted and managed thousands of autopsies and is nationally recognized for his work at the intersection of medicine, public health, and justice. And for this case, we sought out the very best.
Yeah, I Googled him.
We are proud to be working with the very best.
He's a legit pathologist. So here we go, you guys. I don't know what we're going to hear, but let's hear it.
Thank you, Attorney Park. I again want to express our gratitude to President Johnson, Chairman Russell, and the NAACP.
Leah, that means
because
that the district attorney is passing the
civil
buck
rights
over
is
to
more
the grand
important
jury,
than
so the
ever
grand jury can make a
in the
decision.
United States of
That's-
America
to
today.
me, that's how I took
And
it,
so
Leah.
we thank you for the civil rights leaders stepping
the
up to
district
say that our
attorney
children's
has-
lives matter now more than ever. And I want to thank all of you for getting up 8 in the morning. If people could see how many people are gathered here, they would say, you all are truly blessed to have the support of America.
That's true.
Christine
They are blessed. They are.
and Elmore.
We all want the truth for Nolan. It's crazy.
And I want to thank the media for covering this matter because they don't always cover when our children are taken away from us in highly unquestionable ways. And I do understand there's a lot of news going on in America today.
Yeah, so Layla and Leah, it's being presented to a grand jury so the grand jury can indict and arrest and, you know, if they feel there's probable cause for an arrest, that's what the grand jury would do. However, to me, I took it as the district attorney passing the buck onto the grand jury because the district attorney has the power to indict. The district attorney has the power to present evidence to a judge so the judge can sign the arrest paperwork. And the DA did not do that in this case. In this case, the DA wanted the grand jury to decide whether there's enough probable cause for an indictment.
We'll all agree that our children's lives are far more important than where LeBron or any other player will play next year. And so that's why I thank you all for being here, because this news is as important as any news in the United States of America, finding out why is Nolan Wells dead.
Yeah, really, we need to know. We need to know what happened here.
And I want to thank you all who have called the call center. I want to thank Reverend Al Sharpton. I want to thank Mr. Tyler Perry. I want to thank Mr. Terry Owens for putting up the $125,000 reward for anybody out there who have information so we can get to the truth of what happened. I mean, any videos, and we've gotten so many videos, President Johnson, from that day from young people, and we want them to have the courage to come forward with the pictures, what you heard. I know people said there were a lot of disturbances out there. Some believe it involved Nolan. All of those things are important to get to the truth of what happened. The fact, Christine, that the United Cajun Navy are so forthcoming. The fact that they told us, we haven't heard from any of their local officials, that Nolan was found face down, fully clothed. Well, that's significant to us because the last time we saw him on the videos, he was without a shirt. So at what point did he put on a shirt? Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something. There were almost 300, 400 people. Somebody knows something. So,
He had a
Scott
shirt
X,
on.
we're trying to just
He had a shirt on. What?
make sure people understand that you can call the Nolan Wells tip line at bencrump.com. We will.
If he had a shirt on, then he wasn't swimming, you guys, right? If he was fully clothed, then he wasn't swimming.
Gladly listen to you, take any information as we try to put together this puzzle of what happened to Nolan Wells. And today, or who it exonerates. We stand for justice, no matter who it convicts or it acquits. Yeah, and we stand for transparency because we got eyes that can see. And we don't need government officials having to narrate it for you and me. We can see it for ourselves. Transparency. That leads to the truth. The truth is the foundation for accountability and justice.
Amen.
And that's all we're seeking, as Christina Elmore said from day one. So with that,
Let's hear it.
And Christina Elmore, if you all want to sit, we're about to go through this autopsy. And I know it may be a little emotional.
Oh boy, here we go. Thank you for being here, guys. Thank you everyone for being here for Nolan. We want to know what happened to Nolan. Thanks, Angela, Layla, Leah, everyone who is in chat. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button as well so that more people can see this. He asked the parents to take a seat as he reads the autopsy findings. You guys, I don't know. Trigger warning. I don't know what we're going to hear, so trigger warning.
Especially thank Mr. Colin Kaepernick for not thinking it robbery to pay for the autopsy. It's the first chart. Let's go with the first one. Put it right out. So, where's the? Real one.
Wow. They have a whole presentation up. Let's go. They are not playing games with Nolan Wells. Nolan Wells, you are for sure blessed. No one will forget you, Nolan. No one's going to forget you.
An autopsy will be provided for the media at press@bencrump.com. And so.
Okay, so we'll be able to pull up this autopsy if we go to their website after this, so we can read it for ourselves. So that is great.
So Dr. Roger Mitchell, board certified forensic pathologist, performed a preliminary report on the death of Nolan Xavier Wells. He conducted and presented this report on July 19th, 2026.
Sunday.
Preliminary report, second autopsy, death of Nolan Xavier Wells. Cause of death, undetermined. Pending investigation.
Wow.
And we'll explain that as we go through the report this morning. The manner of death, undetermined, pending investigation.
Undetermined, wow.
Statement of examination. This forensic pathologist was retained to perform a second autopsy examination on the body of Nolan Xavier Wells. Name of decedent, Nolan Xavier Wells. Age, 18 years old. Race, black. Gender, male. Date of death, unknown.
Oh my God, why?
Second autopsy date was performed on July 10th, 2026. Preliminary findings. And this is significant. Focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region. He said the etiology is unknown at this time. He said the body was received after the initial autopsy. He said the body had marked decompensation. He said corona incision of the scalp, brain removal, Y-shaped incision of the anterior torso, and he talked about the organs being removed, as is common.
What?
Accompanied in the body cavity. And that when you have an autopsy, the organs are removed from the body and they're dissected and examined. And then they're put back in a bag within inside the body. So when they're buried, their remains will all be with them. But in this occasion, if there's going to be a second autopsy, then the organs are put in the body cavity so the second pathologist could be able to examine the organs as well. Very significant for Dr. Mitchell was that the anterior inner neck structures were absent, not received with the body. And we'll explain that in just a minute.
What?
And then it talks about the additional procedures performed during the second autopsy. And we'll go into the paragraphs on that there because he explains it better in his narrative.
No, Lucy, I know that the organs are removed, but listen to what he's saying. He's a second autopsy is going to be conducted. The organs should have been treated differently. Knowing that a second autopsy was going to be conducted, the organs should have been treated differently.
So he talks in the preliminary discussion opinion. This forensic pathologist identified several limitations during the second autopsy that create barriers to establishing a definitive cause and manner of death for Nolan Xavier Wells. And that's important. He talks about the fact that we didn't get to see the body when it was first recovered, like the medical examiner working for Mississippi would have seen it. He talked about the second autopsy performed on Nolan Wells revealed marked decompensation or changes. Marked decompensation can obscure the presence and absence of bruising on the skin surface, especially during a second autopsy examination. What he's saying, because the body was so decomposed that you couldn't tell if there was bruises or abrasions on the body when he received it on the 10th of July.
Damn.
For these reasons, additional dissection procedures not performed during the first autopsy examination were performed to rule out potential blunt force injuries responsible for the death. These procedures included facial dissection, posterior head and neck dissection, dissection of the ribs, the pelvic, dissection of the subcutaneous and deep soft tissue, dissection of the back, the buttocks, the arms and legs. He did all of this to rule out things. He ruled out there were no fractures or deep tissue injuries identified. This was very important because he wanted to be very thorough and very transparent, because transparency is the key to getting to the answers of why Nolan Wells is not with us.
I'm interested on the neck.
So
I'm interested on what tissues were what?
Was very straightforward, very open, very open. He says, however, dissection of the back of the head during the layered posterior neck dissection revealed a 12 by 8 inch focal area of red discoloration in the deep soft tissues overlaying the occipital bone. And
well, that's.
He talked about how
oh my
he
God,
found
you guys, look.
red discoloration.
Look, you guys.
When he cut open into the back of his head towards the occipital bone, and he saw the red discoloration, and we actually saw the pictures of it. It's significant. You can't help but notice, why is this dark red here in the back of his head? And so he was important to note that in his report. He said that etiology of this finding is unclear. There are no lacerations of the overlaying skin nor fractures of the underlying skull. These findings are inconclusive for perimortem injury due to both the extensive decomposition and the absence of associated injuries.
That's
this
a big area. That's
however,
a huge area. Look at
is
this.
significant enough to be highlighted in this preliminary report for further investigation. It is important to reiterate that the finding could not have been observed in the first autopsy because the posterior head and neck dissection were not performed.
Why? Why?
He said another limitation, move this back here.
I don't understand.
Another limitation faced by this forensic pathologist was the absence of the anterior internal neck structures.
Yes, what is this? What?
The trachea and the laryngeal cartilage, the thyroid horn, and the hyoid bone were not received with the body.
What? You guys, what?
So he's saying,
oh my God, you guys.
that the throat was not received with the body.
Why?
When he got Nolan Wells' body in Washington, D.C. to perform the second autopsy. And so let's discuss that with what he said about that. He said, it is assumed that the initial pathologist retained these structures for additional evaluation. He said the retention of the anterior neck structures during an initial autopsy is a common forensic pathology practice. He was chief medical examiner for 7 years in Washington, D.C. And he said that if they had concern about throat or any fracture or compression of the throat, they too will hold them back. He doesn't know why they held the throat back, but he said the throat was not with the body of Nolan Wells when he received it in Washington, D.C. to perform the second autopsy.
Fuck you, Mississippi. Fuck you,
He said,
Mississippi.
nevertheless, a posterior neck dissection performed without review of the anterior neck structures is incomplete. Therefore, this pathologist cannot rule out injury to the neck as a contributor or a cause of death.
Exactly.
He said he would need to have the medical examiner in Mississippi allow him to review the throat.
Give us the fucking neck, Mississippi. What the fuck is your problem, motherfucker?
That's why he said his autopsy is undetermined pending investigation. Remember, it's about transparency.
Unfucking real, bro.
Because the initial autopsy rightfully removed and dissected each organ, there are additional limitations inherent in the second autopsy of Nolan Wells. The most significant of the limitations was the inability to directly observe the airway and the lungs for water,
oh my God,
and directly observe the stomach for gastric contents. He said it is very significant as to what the initial forensic scientists who got to review the body when it was recovered. We have heard from our call center people saying the body wasn't waterlogged. Well, we need to know those things. But unfortunately, because the body was decomposed and the organs have already been dissected, those are things we can only get from the initial autopsy. So therefore, again, the manner and cause of death is undetermined until further investigation.
Fuck you, Mississippi. Fuck you, Mississippi.
We are hopeful that the Mississippi Medical Examiner would give Dr. Mitchell an opportunity to see their photographs and their observations to the condition of Nolan Wells' body closer in time to July 4th. That is very important, and we have to continue to demand transparency, President Johnson.
Well, I don't know. Amy.
In addition, the original toxicology results have not been received at the time of this report. And we continue to wait for the toxicology to come back, because again, that will be part of the investigation into Nolan Wells' autopsy by Dr. Mitchell. It is significant to note that it's many things that go into toxicology that only Dr. Mitchell would be able to opine upon, and medical experts can opine upon. And he feels the proper place to do that is before a grand jury in a courtroom. And so we would hope that the district attorney would present Dr. Mitchell before the grand jury as well.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
We want all relevant information to be heard by the grand jury.
Exactly. Again, grand jury sucks because who chooses to present the evidence is the district attorney. Does the public get to see the evidence? No, we do not. Does the defense do they get to opine on any evidence that the district attorney presents? No, they not. They do not. Okay. We're at the mercy of the grand jury and the district attorney.
Lastly, in cases where a death has occurred in or around a body of water, this is important.
Oh boy, this too much. This too much. My poor Nolan. Oh baby boy.
Lastly, in cases where a death has occurred in or around a body of water with suspicion of drowning, it is important to confirm how that person entered the water.
Right.
This is the crux of the matter. This information is especially important for those deaths of persons who can swim. As in the case with Nolan Wells, at the time of this report, this forensic pathologist does not know the condition of Nolan Wells. He did not know whether he was conscious or unconscious when he entered the water.
Wow.
He said that would be significant.
Wow.
He said he did not know whether he was forced into the water or unforced into the water. He said that would be significant. So he said the condition of Nolan Wells before he entered the water would be the crux of the matter. It would be of utmost importance to being able to determine a cause and manner of death. He said, definitive circumstances of death are required to determine the manner of death. For these reasons, this pathologist cannot rule out, and let me really call your attention to this.
Okay.
For these reasons, this pathologist cannot rule out if any intervening non-accidental factors contributed to or caused the death of Nolan Wells.
Yeah. In other words, it cannot
He said,
rule out
based
murder.
on the
Yes.
examination of the body, he cannot rule out foul play.
Correct.
That is significant.
Correct.
With the following questions still outstanding, number one, what were the circumstances that led to Nolan Xavier Wells entering the water?
Right.
Number two, what was the body position when it was found? We know that a member of the United Cajun Navy said that he was face down and he was fully clothed.
Yeah.
Number three, where's there water in the airway? Remember, he talked about the lungs and the airways where they fill with water. Number four, is there any evidence of injuries to the anterior neck structure? We got the autopsy without his neck.
No neck.
We got the body without
No
his neck
neck.
at the time of the second
He
autopsy.
could have been strangled. He could have been lynched.
Number five, is there any evidence of any intracranial hemorrhaging? He said that is going to be very significant. Things that he could not observe at autopsy that the initial medical examiner would have been able to observe. Number six, was the composition of what was the composition of the stomach contents? He talks about that being important because when was he found? How long had he been in the water?
Right.
How long had it been since his last meal? All those things become relevant factors when you're trying to do a thorough and impartial autopsy. And number seven, what are the toxicology report findings? He said the best classification again for the cause and manner of death for Nolan Xavier Wells is undetermined pending investigation. This forensic pathologist reserves the right to review and incorporate additional forensic pathology information into his opinion as it becomes available.
Yeah.
He says the above opinions are expressed to a reasonable degree of medical certainty. Dr. Roger A. Mitchell, July 19, 2026.
Wow.
And we know that, as I said, this is only another part of the puzzle. And even though it tells us significant information, we still have more questions than we have answers at this time. And we will continue to press forward and persist, Christine and Elmore, with getting the answers to these questions. Because as you, yes.
Amen, amen, amen.
We will persist, because as Christine and Elmore and Attorney Parker and I talked this morning, we know that there are so many conflicting stories. The fact that she said him being found face down, the fact that we have other
said
videos
something happened to him and everyone thought we were crazy. I was called a race baiter and worse. I'm so sorry, Nolan made
in some kind of dispute with others. We're looking at all of these things. The fact that the GPS tracking of the boat is being questioned by many. We're trying to dot every I and cross every T, because we understand that when our children's lives
Shut up, Skull Crusher.
are at stake.
Go touch grass.
It
Go somewhere.
matters.
Get out of here. You don't
Not
belong
just
here.
what happened, but what we do in the aftermath of them being
Lord.
taken away from
I
us.
mean,
And
y'all are
just like
stupid.
the
Y'all are stupid.
NAACP stood up when another tragedy
Yes,
in
I
Mississippi
agree.
taking the life of young Emmett Till, we will stand up for Nolan Wells.
Yeah, you don't
Just
belong
like
here. You don't
the
belong here.
NAACP
Thank you.
and civil rights leaders stood up.
I don't know how that's
When
possible.
another
How is it
Mississippi
possible
son
to hold back
was
a neck?
taken
How do you
in
do
Megan
that?
Evers, we will stand up for Nolan Wells. And just like too many of our young people, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Botham Jean, Terrence
There is
Crutcher,
something.
Stephon Clark, Sandra Bland,
Oh,
Atiana
Sandra
Jefferson, Alton Sterling,
Tamla Horsford.
Eric Gardner, George Floyd, Tamir Rice, the young people
Lucy.
who I was
The
trying
G's
to
would
focus
never.
on.
The G's would never do this for their
Gary,
child.
we stand up until we get the truth,
Could you
until we
imagine?
get justice for Nolan Wells. 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 Justice for Nolan Wells.
Yeah, he deserves justice. How are they gonna do that
So
to him? No,
we
don't
were
pay.
asked
Don't
if
pay. Don't pay.
Christine
No.
and Elmore and President Johnson can come back and join us on the stage. And Travad, we
So-
will have you coordinate questions and answers for us or President Johnson or Attorney Park and I. I will say
Okay,
this,
so
as President Johnson comes to the stage, I was sharing this with him and Chairman, not only to help our son, but to help these other young black boys who was killed the July 4th holiday. And I want to take a moment before we answer your questions to talk about two other young black men,
Yeah.
both 18 years old,
Yeah.
who were killed in extraordinary ways that are very similar to Nolan.
I mean, it happens everywhere, you
President Johnson,
guys. It's happening
18-year-old
everywhere.
Daniel Irvins.
Daniel Irving. Yep.
Went on a fishing trip, out on a fishing boat with two other young men. He was the only black. It is alleged that he ended up accidentally drowning, but his two white friends got his cell phone and threw it away, got his clothes and threw it away, and then went and deleted all of their text messages with him and social media. Sounds familiar? And they've only been charged with tampering with evidence. And his mother is crying out that they should be charged with murder, because if they will lie about his cell phone and his clothes and deleted messages, then they will lie about what really happened to Daniel Irvins.
Daniel Irving's mother is not playing games either. She is not messing around.
There's the
He
matter,
knew
President
something happened to
Johnson,
him.
Christine Clark, of 18-year-old Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith, on 4th of July, was at a house party with about 10 other people. He was the only black person at the house.
Why is this happening?
He somehow ends up shot in the head, dead. Some of the friends get rid of the gun. The police show up. They tell the police it was an accident. It was an accidental shooting, that they were playing Russian roulette. And Tyler Smith ended up getting killed. And apparently, Christine Clark, President Johnson, the police just took their word for it. His mother and grandmother are incensed. They asked the police, did you do a gunshot residue test on his hands? And the reason they said they had to call us, like Daniel Irvins and
Christine.
Nolan Wells family, because the police.
This is sick.
Police told them, President Johnson, that there was no need to do gunshot residue on his hands or any of the other people in the house, because I don't understand this logic, but they said if they were playing Russian roulette, then all of them will have gunshot residue on their hands. So we don't need to do gunshot residue tests. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Bro, we tired. We are tired of law enforcement not doing their job. We're so tired.
So they are taking the word of these 10 people that your son just killed himself. And you don't have to worry about doing any investigation or testing forensically anything. Just take our word for it. Now, can you imagine in any 3 of these scenarios, had the survivors been young black men and they were with a young white man and he ended up dead, what kind of investigation would that have been? What kind of interrogation would that have been? Would they have ever been able to
Is he lying though? He's not lying.
until those questions were answered? Well, just like you would do a thorough investigation for your children, we want you to do a thorough investigation
treat
for
everyone the
our
same.
children.
Treat everyone the same. Come on, bro. Like, it's 2020.
We don't want
anything. It's 2020 fucking 6.
Equal justice.
Like, what the fuck?
Equal justice.
Anyway.
And so with that, I'll turn it over to Trevon to lead us in the final session.
We'll have a few questions. We have my colleagues on either side with microphones. Please announce your name and your media outlet if you have any questions. We're going to be quick because we have other programming going on in real time. We'll go here first.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everybody. Samantha Chapman, ABC7 Chicago. You just unveiled a comprehensive outline of the independent report. Can you summarize for our viewers, because there's a lot to take in, a lot of information. So in summary, can you succinctly tell us what we can take away from this report? And also, if you can provide more details about the neck.
Yep.
I heard a lot of people behind me gasping when that detail was mentioned.
Yep. Let me try to be very comprehensive. As
I can't
Dr.
believe
Roger
his
Mitchell
neck was
said,
missing.
that the
His
focal area
neck was missing.
of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital.
You think he could have
region,
been lynched? Do you think he was lynched?
It's significant.
And that's why.
Because he cannot determine why you have that red discoloration in the back of his brain. That's significant. He also talked about, Mr. Williams, if you can, just the fact that as it's common practice, he was missing his throat when they received the body. And he wants to know why they held it back. He's not drawing any conclusions, but he said he would want to examine it if there were neck fractures or compressions to the neck. And he thinks that's significant to know at autopsy. The reason he says he would hold it back when he was medical examiner because he thought that there may have been some issues with neck fractures. The last thing that is significant is what we said before about him, the condition of his body when he went into the water. Was he conscious or unconscious? Was he forced or unforced into the water? He said those things are very significant. But he started off talking about this red discoloration in the back of his head is something that was of great concern to him. Thank you.
We'll go here.
Daryl Denard with Chicago Speaks on V103. What specifically are you calling for from Mississippi authorities in terms of transparency, but more importantly, investigations?
I know President Johnson is from the state of Mississippi, and the Mississippi Conference president is here. They're calling, as we are, for a fair, impartial, comprehensive investigation. When Nolan's parents heard the sheriff say there's no foul play.
No foul play? Why are you hiding the neck then? Why are you hiding the neck if there's no foul play? Explain that shit.
At the beginning of the investigation, that is cause for concern, major concern. You haven't even investigated, but you're saying no foul play. And so we want them to dot every I and cross every T. You know, we had a meeting with the district attorney, and we expressed to them about our lived experiences. The fact, and you know, they said that's not what happens in her office, but we said we believe if the roles were reversed and there were 3 young black 18-year-olds and there was a white 18-year-old who was with them and he ended up dead, we don't believe that those young black men would not have been interrogated to the full extent of the law. We believe that it would not have been a choice whether they were going to cooperate with law enforcement if their lawyers and them were going to cooperate. No, they would have been held until they gave answers. They would have been held until they explained the cell phone in their possession. They would have been held until their cell phones have been examined. And so whatever you would do, had the roles been reversed, we want you to do the same thing for Nolan Wales.
He's right. And so
We
sick
have time
of
for one more
saying,
question.
so sick of saying that. So sick of saying if the rule's been reversed, just fucking do it already, law enforcement. Just do it.
I'm Tiffany Walden with the Tribe in Chicago. I know that we're talking about a transparent investigation, but for families and people who are watching, can you kind of give a breakdown or a timeline to the best of your ability of the contact that you've had with Mississippi authorities or Ocean Springs authorities or the Cajun Navy? Have you all talked to them? Do they call you after the initial autopsy? Is it just radio silence from them? Do you have to call them? Can you kind of walk us through that process?
So the last time we actually spoke with local authorities, which would be the sheriff's department, was I think a day or two after his body was found. That was only initiated by me. I sent him a text message. I was like, hey, this is Christine, Nolan's mom. I just want to see if there are any updates. Basically, he called back. There were no updates. He's like, we're still interviewing. And again, my concern, and also my husband's concern, was it was not even an hour that his body had been removed.
Yeah.
And the sheriff came out and said, this is, accidental drowning. We don't think
Right.
there's foul play.
Right.
Again,
I remember
that is
that.
why we're doing what we're doing and why
Correct.
we're moving the way we are.
Yes.
Because
yes.
I sat there and asked them, please take this case as if this is your child, your family member, your
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
And they promised that they would. But when you make statements like that straight out the gate, that's an issue.
Yeah.
We did meet with the DA. She did promise, transparency and all of this, all of that. However, damage has already been done because now that's the narrative that's being pushed by the general public, who again, know nothing really, only what they're hearing from other people. So in addition to that, it's all these things coming up. And at the end of the day, like I said before, any parent that would be in this situation, you would do anything to find out what happened to your child.
Exactly.
And that is what we're here to do.
It is very important.
Except the Idaho 4 victims, they really don't care.
That
I'm just saying.
That it was an accidental drowning, nothing to see here, is troubling, even if that's the case. There were 300 to 400 people out on Horns Island. You mean to tell me nobody saw anything? Nobody can tell us anything about what happened to one of the few Black people that were out there on that island that day?
Right. That's a good point. Like he's one of the very few Black people that was on the island, so he would have stood out.
Would not want his cell phone.
He
was going to stay behind.
Right.
The fact that, you have the young lady saying that he said he was going to get back on the boat with the boys, and then the boys saying no. He said he was going to stay behind and talk to her. If that was the case, don't you believe Nolan would have said, give me my cell phone, I'm going to stay behind.
Exactly.
Give me my car keys, I'm going to stay behind.
Exactly.
It's not adding up.
Wallet,
and so we're going to keep fighting and
his wallet. And his wallet as well.
Digging until we get the answers, the transparency, the truth, the accountability, and justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells.
Okay, so amen. Justice for Nolan Wells. His neck is removed. My takeaway here is
Affairs Committee
huge.
join us quickly so we can have a quick word of prayer with the family, and that will conclude our
All right, so my takeaway here is huge, you guys. What do you guys think? One, for sure, that redness on his head, what is that? Why was his tissues I'll read the written autopsy report to see what the terminology is of that bruising. I'm not sure if it was described as a bruising, but we know that it was a reddish. It's reddish back there, and my takeaway is, what is that? Two, why was his neck removed? Why was his neck removed? Right. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. Undetermined. Autopsy results came back undetermined, guys. Okay.
Hi. Mr. and Mrs. Wells, I did not know your son. But I could tell from just looking at his photograph, I can feel the aura, the joy that you talked about. We all can experience and feel that. Ben Crump has chronicled the list of pain moments in our community by the deceased and by those who are now martyrs. We have been dying. What does the Lord require of us? But to do justice to love mercy, to even walk humbly with our God. Lord God, your people are here beseeching justice. We're here for transparency. We're here for truth. You who are the way, the truth, and the life. We're here because of you. Lord God, how long must we continue to pay evil a toll at the gateway towards justice? How long must we see our children lie bleeding in the streets, in the sand, in the water, and the asphalt pavements of this nation that we built? Even on July the 4th, a day that serves a lesson in mockery and dichotomy, where we talk about independence, yet we are not independent from those who seek justice. Help us, Lord. Bless us right now. Bless this family. Cover this mother whose tears fall down her cheeks. Cover this father as he remembers his son whom he taught and whom he mentored to play in life, but more importantly, to play the game the way it should be played in living. Lord God, we thank you so much. We've gone down the roads. They lied on Martin. They lied on Medgar. They lied on Malcolm. But more importantly, oh God, they lied on you. You who know.
Okay, amen. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so thank you all. In the name of Jesus, amen. Hallelujah. You guys, we are going to move on to, okay, we're going to move on to the interview of one of the gentlemen, one of the young boys who was on the boat, okay, with Nolan Wells. He was interviewed by Tatum. His name is Officer Tatum. So I want to go ahead and play that. Here we go. And let's let me share my screen and let's see if we can find some answers here, right? What happened to Nolan? We have heard that his autopsy results came back undetermined. The independent autopsy result came back undetermined. My takeaway is that his neck was missing. That's strange. That's weird. I think the parents deserve an explanation of why his neck was missing in that second autopsy report. Another thing, another takeaway is that there was bruising on the back of his head. Why was there bruising? And my question to Mississippi is, why in the hell were you so quick to rule this an accidental drowning if you knew these facts? Okay, so we're going to continue. His neck was missing. Hi, Jules, my love. How are you? His neck was missing, Leah. Oh, my goodness. Yes. All right, so now let's listen to this interview. This is Warren. This was the young man that was on the boat. There's pictures of him circulating, going viral with Nolan on the boat. So we're going to listen to this interview. Let's try and hear if there's anything deceptive or to see if he's being deceiving on this interview. Let's find out. This is part one. So it looks like he is this Officer Tatum show. He's releasing them in parts. So this is part one. Let's listen to this together. Thank you for being here, you guys. Thank you. Okay, let's get started and play.
questions. I mean, just straight out. The first thing I want to ask you is, did you kill Nolan? All right, Warren, we had a chance to get to know each other.
Now, an important thing that I was also looking at in this is if there's any bruising, if I notice any scratch or bruising on his person, right? That's another thing that I've been looking at very closely. So let's play this.
Over the last, 2 days, went out to Horn Island. So I've had an opportunity to talk to you about a few things, and the things that you've told me have literally blown my mind. But the world haven't had a chance yet to hear your story, to hear Nolan's story through you, through his friend. And it's not just you, it's a bunch of y'all. But, you know, some of the other guys were afraid because of the threats and the violence that's been threatened against their lives and all of the above. But you decided that you wanted to take this bold step and give a statement and, you know, get your side out here. And I want to start at the very beginning of all of this and ask you, what was your relationship like with Nolan? Who was he to you?
Nolan, I could describe Nolan in a million ways. I mean, Nolan was not just a best friend of me, but he was a brother. I grew up.
Now, he's saying Nolan was not only a best friend, he was a brother. Is this conflicting with what mom is saying? Is this conflicting? Is this facts, or is this the truth or a lie? According to mom, because according to mom, Warren wasn't his best friend. Javon was. Javon Williams was his best friend. So here he's coming out proclaiming that Nolan was his brother and a best friend. Okay? But he was a brother. That sounds very fratish, frat boyish, or whatever you want to call it.
Through elementary, middle school, high school, and even our freshman year of college, you know, we talked on the phone all the time. We were.
Yes, Leah. Exactly, Leah. Frat. Once he said brother, once he said Nolan, not only Nolan was the best friend, he was a brother. Immediately, frat. My frat antennas went up, Leah. You feel me?
Really close friends. And I mean, Nolan was like a brother to me. And Nolan lit up every room.
Oh, Jules, feel better, Jules. Feel better. Hope you're okay. Lurk away, lurk away.
He walked in, he always had a smile on his face. He always had something good to say. I've never seen Nolan get in an argument with.
See, this is interesting. And this reminds me of Mr. Hunter Johnson talking about Ethan Chapin. I'm talking about the Idaho 4 now. Sounds just like him, right? Hunter Johnson says the same thing in his memorial. And again, you're out here having a discussion with Officer Tatum on Officer Tatum's show, speaking about Nolan being your best friend and like a brother. But how dare you? You didn't even show up to his funeral. So how dare you? Sounds just like Hunter Johnson. Never seen Ethan getting into an argument. He was always smiling. I never seen Ethan angry. He was always smiling. Isn't that something, huh?
Somebody and say bad things. He always had a smile on his face. He always had something good to say. I've never seen Nolan get in an argument with somebody and say bad things about someone. You know, there's a lot of people that talk crap.
That gave me pause. That gave me pause. I'm sorry. I'm going to just dissect the hell out of your statements. Yes, because you were the last person to see Nolan alive on that day. And what the fuck is this? What is this? Is that contour? Are you contouring your face? What the fuck is that?
Nowadays, and Nolan was never that person. Sweetest soul ever. And I mean, I had a great relationship with Nolan.
Same fucking script. Sorry for my language so early in the morning. I don't mean to scare you guys away, but we are adults here, aren't we? Aren't we?
And I've never got in an argument with Nolan. We were super close, and I've never said or will.
He never got into an argument with Nolan, he says. Well, why was that so important for you to tell us right off the jump? Why was that so significant for you to tell us right off the jump?
With Nolan, we were super close, and I've never said or will ever have anything bad to say about Nolan Wells.
Yeah, and you guys, you said you kind of.
That gave me pause. Why would you say you not only did you say you never got into a fight with Nolan, you also said you never had anything bad to say about Nolan. Why is that important or significant for you to say? I don't
Close, and I've never said or will ever have anything bad to say about Nolan Wells.
Yeah, and you guys, you said you kind of grew up together. Did you know his mom, or how was that? Because I saw in the media where it appears that she may have said, at least I saw in part, that she said as if she didn't know any of you guys.
Right.
Exactly. Thank you. Explain that, young man. Explain that.
Well, Nolan, a lot of the times was at like my house and at my buddy's house. We never went to Nolan's house and hung out.
Well, then you're not a good friend. Well, then you're not a best friend. And you're not a brother. Let's get that straight. Nolan was not your best friend or brother. You never went to his house. Mom says you guys weren't friends like that. So everything being said here is pointing to you are lying right off the bat.
I mean,
allegedly, in my opinion. He does have a nice nose, though.
And my friend group's very, very tight knit. I mean, we hang out every day when we're back home from school. In high school, we hung out most weekdays. And
you see how it's a little dark here in this area?
every day on the weekend. And I mean, we were never at Nolan's house, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But
I mean, if they grew up together, right, you'd think he had like childhood pictures of him and Nolan. You think mom would have childhood pictures of him and Nolan if they grew up together, you know?
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside.
Ad alert. Okay, let's continue.
I met his father, and I mean, in 8th grade, Nolan. That's when Nolan and I like got really close. It was COVID year, and
8th grade. So this is okay. Before high school, he said he met his father,
and we were in class all year long together. Me and a couple of my buddies, and Nolan and I just got super tight because we'd get a Waffle House once a week together, eat. And I mean, we were just super, super close. But his dad would swing by Waffle House, you know, and like, you know, hang out around us, but never, you know, I was never around Nolan's parents a lot. But I mean, that didn't change our relationship any. Nolan and I were still just as close, and he was just as close with my friends as, you know, anyone else. So,
and walk me through the day. 4th of July, where you guys were all going out.
Right.
This seems like something that I would assume that may have occurred more than just this year.
Yeah, of course.
Was it something that you guys did more than just this year? It's a 2-part question. I want to know, is it something that you guys typically did together, that you hang out often in this fashion? And then I want you to then walk me through 4th of July this year when the incident happened.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, being from the Gulf Coast, there's a boating and fishing is very, very popular. The 4th of July, every year, my friends and I, or my family and I, are out on the water. I mean, that's the one day is guaranteed everybody's going out. And that's a known thing. Everybody.
So he says not only he's out on the water, his family is. Remember, this is the stepson of the judge. And according to Ashley Cole, the judge, she says in her statement that she was not on Horn Island on the 4th of July. So I think this is super interesting what he's saying here. He said everyone is out on the boat on the 4th of July. Listen again.
Or my family and I are out on the water. I mean, that's the one day is guaranteed everybody's going out. And that's a known thing. Everybody's trying to get a ride out to Horn Island, or, people go to Ship Island, but most of everybody from Ocean Springs and the Gulf Coast go to Horn Island. And
okay, he said people go to Ship Island. I noticed on the map, there's Horn Island and there's also Ship Island to the west of it. To the west of Horn Island, there's another small island. It's called Ship Island. I saw that as well. Let me see what he says about Ship Island.
To get a ride out to Horn Island, or, people go to Ship Island, but most of everybody from Ocean Springs and the Gulf Coast go to Horn Island. And, we went last year. Nolan was on the boat with me last year. And
they went last year, he says. Nolan was on the boat with me last year. I need the family to confirm what this kid is saying. Is this true?
he was this was a common thing. My friends go on the boat when we're home. Very, very common. That's what we like to do. My friends like to fish also, and like to go on the boat, not just fishing, but like to go on the boat, like to go on sunset cruises, like to do it all, on the water, and
Are you licensed? I would have asked, are you licensed? Who rowed the boat that day? Who was the captain of the boat on that day? I would have asked right away.
Nolan loved to do that too. He was not like he was just like everyone else in our friend group. He loved to go on the water and, have a good time with the guys. And that's what we did a lot. But 4th of July.
He says, but, okay. You know what but means in language, right? But is okay. What is but in language, in context? All right. It's connecting what but does, the word but serves in context. It serves as it's coordinating conjunction to connect contrasting ideas. Okay? To connect contrasting ideas. For example, it's raining, but we are still going for a walk. I would love to help, but I don't have the time. Does that make sense? Now let's listen to this within the context of this but. Ready?
With the guys, and that's what we did a lot. But that too. He was not like he was just like everyone else in our friend group. He loved to go on the water and,
he loved to go on the water.
Have a good time with the guys.
And have a good time with the guys. Nolan loved to go on the water, and Nolan loved to have a good time with the guys.
And that's what we did a lot. But
and that's what we did a lot. But yeah. If you listen long enough to people, they will tell you. They will tell you the truth. If you listen to people, they will tell you what they're thinking, what they're saying. If you listen long enough, you can find out the truth. Now, to me, this but means that that is not what happened on the 4th of July.
4th of July, everybody.
You see, you guys, are you listening to this, or am I just going too deep into it? Am I reading too much into this? Let's listen again.
Loved to do that too. I mean, he was not like he was just like everyone else in our friend group. He loved to go on the water and, you know, have a good time with the guys. And that's what we did a lot. But 4th of July, everybody was out there. Like I said, like Nolan was always trying to go on the boat, trying to go out there with us. And
Trying to go on the boat? What do you mean by trying to go on the boat? Because I saw a photo of you with Nolan on the boat, but I don't understand the trying to go on the boat. What does that mean?
everybody was out there. Like I said, like Nolan was always trying to go on the boat, trying to go out there with.
Nolan was always trying to go on the boat. What does that mean, young man? I thought he was on the boat with you guys. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Let's continue.
With us, and he was always welcome to come. Nolan was always out there with us, and but started 4th of July. You know, my buddies and I had talked about this week's upcoming. You know, everybody's very
wow. They talked about this 4th of July for weeks, you guys. Weeks upcoming. This was a very planned, you know, event, festivities were planned and everything. They talked about it for weeks.
Started 4th of July, you know, my buddies and I had talked about this week's upcoming, you know, everybody's very, very excited for the 4th of July from down here. Like it's a big thing.
It's a big deal.
Very, very big deal. And I mean, I actually stayed with Nolan that night at my buddy's house, and
see, he stayed with Nolan that night at my buddy's house. Okay. So on July 3rd, Warren, I thought Nolan stayed over Warren's house, but they did sleep over together, but at someone else's house. It might be Wyatt, if I'm not mistaken, because I have Warren and Wyatt so far figured out.
I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. Nolan was not with me, and McDonald's got food at my buddy's house, and we went to Nolan that night at my buddy's house, and I woke up.
Okay, so now this is the 4th of July morning. They woke up at someone else's house, at their buddy's house. And notice how he's saying my buddy's house, not our buddy's house. So my question would be, is this buddy also friends with Nolan, or was he just a mutual friend of you guys's, you know? Like, was this buddy of yours also buddies with Nolan is my question.
At my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. Nolan was not with me.
So Nolan stayed behind. Nolan stayed behind that morning while he went with his buddies to McDonald's to get food, okay?
And I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck, and first I ran
hold on
my truck, and I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up.
Okay, so the buddy has a boat. This buddy person they slept over has a boat. And he hooked it up. He hooked his friend's boat
to my truck.
To his truck. To Warren's truck that morning is what he is saying, okay?
And first I ran to my house, then I went to McDonald's and came back, and the boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy Wyatt and I went, and
that's why I knew it. I fucking knew it. All right. So Wyatt is the buddy. Wyatt is the buddy they slept over. And we need to know if Wyatt was friends with Nolan, okay? So Wyatt has a boat. Got it.
With my buddy, and we went, topped the boat off, loaded it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach.
Okay, so Wyatt has a smaller boat. I wonder if that's the little daddy boat that we keep seeing in footage. Remember, the boat name is Little Daddy, and that's where it looks to be Nolan. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's Nolan, but we see Nolan on a boat that is named Little Daddy. I wonder if that's Wyatt's boat. Sorry for pausing this. I'm just trying to get all the details in order.
Down with ice and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach.
Okay, so now Wyatt's boat is attached to his truck, but there's a second boat. There's a second boat because Warren just says that Wyatt went to put his smaller boat in the water. So perhaps the smaller boat was attached to Wyatt's truck. Okay, so now we have two boats, two trucks, okay?
He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and Wyatt,
It's an 18-foot Palm Beach. 18-foot Palm Beach, all right? And why I drove
the boat from Fort Bayou boat launch to my buddy.
He's not telling us the story in order. So there's a lot of details he's spitting out, but he's not giving it to us in order. So we know that they drove the boat from Fort Bayou to someone's house. Okay. So now we know it's Wyatt's house that they drove it to. So Warren drives the boat from Fort Bayou to the house. That was later on at night. Okay, let's start from the top.
Got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and I drove the boat from...
I'm listening. Amy, I got you. Yeah, Amy, I'm listening to you loud and clear. I get that. I haven't researched Katie or the dad yet. I know that there's a clip of the dad speaking out. Yeah, let it play already. Apologies. Officer Tatum is a white sympathizer. If you would prefer to see the video with no breakdown, here's the link. Blue Devil, how are you, my love? Thank you so much. Thank you for that, you guys. Okay, let's continue. I will play this. You're right. Let me play it. Let's go.
Fort Bayou boat launch to my buddy's grandparents' house, and that's where we all planned to meet up that day. And
you say we all, who you talking about? You, Nolan, and how many people are going to meet you guys there?
We had roughly 20 to 30 people.
20 to 30 people
coming on 3 separate boats with us.
20 to 30 on 3 boats.
And so we were all following each other out there as one big group. You know, it wasn't just me and Nolan and a couple other of my buddies. There was 20 or 30 people spread out where we all met at the dock before, and then we departed to go to Horn Island. It wasn't just a couple of us.
So they met at the dock, which is where they departed. They departed from the dock.
I mean, there were so many people, we had to split up between 3 boats, and we all left and all got there at the same time.
So between 20 to 30, 20 to 30, that's 10 person difference. Which one is it? That's crazy. Because if you're thinking about 30 on 3 boats, that means 10 heads each, 10 per boat. 10 heads per boat. That's a lot.
Time.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that's clear because the statements that are out there made it appear that it was just you, Nolan, and probably 2 or 3 other guys, and y'all are the only ones that went out to this island.
And that's completely incorrect. I mean, Horn Island on the 4th of July is the most popular day to be on the water on, throughout the entire Gulf Coast. I mean, everybody and their mom is on the water on 4th of July, There's no telling. I mean, roughly probably 2 to 3, maybe even 4,000 people out there. There were boats lined up off the island. I mean, there was 3 rows of boats all the way until my vision.
He said 4,000 people. That's a lot. 4,000 people out there? Seriously?
Ended until I could see of people from, I mean, there was one.
I mean, this guy might just be saying things to get the attention off of him. We have to look at it in that way too. We have to look at this in different lenses, different perspectives. He might just be getting the attention off of him. He's like, listen, there was like at least 30 people. Like, go talk to these other 30 people. There was 3,000 people on the island. Go somewhere else. Get the attention off of him. We don't know this. We don't know.
Rowboats, and then there was another rowboats, and then there was a third rowboats.
Yeah.
I mean, there was people lined up all up and down the island to where, I mean, who knows? I mean, and that wasn't just, we were parked on the north side, on the west tip. It wasn't just there. I mean, there's tons of people packed out on the south side and on the east end and in the middle of the island. But just where we were, I mean, there was easily 1,000 people. It wasn't just us.
Let's go back a little bit. I want to go back to you guys at the dock, getting on the boat. You're saying there's multiple people, probably 20 or 30 people getting on 3 boats.
Right.
What boat were you on and what boat was Nolan on?
Nolan was on Wyatt's 22 Triton. On the way out, I went with my buddy Bart because we had a lot of friends from college coming down. And I called Bart that morning. I was like, hey, man, can you take your boat out? And he was like, yeah, well, my dad's decided not to go. And I'll take the boat and I'll take you and your friends. Of course. I mean, he's a buddy of mine. And so Bart pulled up at the dock. And I mean, I rode out there with Bart and a lot of the girls that go to college with my friends and I. And Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. There was like 8 people on the Triton, and then there was 8 or 9 people on the Triton, and then there was the rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line, which is 24 tide line.
And so you guys get on, and I know a little bit more than the audience do because we went out there a little earlier because I wanted to see exactly what the drive was like, what the dock was like, how far it is out there.
Of course.
But I want you to tell, the audience, like, what was this trip like? How was the waters? Did you guys do anything in between the time you rode and the time you get to the island? Was there music? Is it like a big party? Like, what is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously music's blasting. It's 4th of July, man. I mean, everybody's really excited. And I mean, we have a lot of people loaded down. So obviously our biggest, we're just trying to make sure everybody, gets out there safe. And so, I mean, on the way out there, it was pretty calm. I think it was blowing like 3 or 4 knots. I mean, the waters were clear. It was a great day to be on the water. Sunshine, not cloudy at all. And I mean, it was a great day to be out there on 4th of July. And so, I mean, we followed each other out and I mean, it was calm. It was calm. On the way back, it was a little more rough, but it was not anything all my buddies' boats couldn't handle, or like, it wasn't like we were getting really beat up or anything. I mean, it was pretty calm.
And so you guys get out there. I'm assuming that you line the boats up because I'm envisioning the picture of getting out there and there's hundreds of boats. Mm-hmm. There's thousands of people. Yeah. So it wasn't just you guys on a deserted island.
Of course not.
A few people. This is thousands of people out there.
Right.
And there's a lot of people doing what? What does it look like when you first pull up?
I pull up and we pulled up at 10:30. I mean, it wasn't, early afternoon. I mean, it wasn't, but 10:30 is, still pretty early in the day. And when we got there was already 3 rows of boats lined up all the way, like I said, until I could see. And
you're talking, when you say all you can see, you're speaking about miles of boat. When we went out there earlier, or not earlier today, but when we went out there, the island is massive.
Correct.
I mean, it's just several miles long.
Roughly 10 to 12 miles. I mean, it's...
So you think that the boats were stretching from one end to the next, or just a small area of about a mile or less than a mile of boats?
Well, I mean, I think there was boats all the way around the entire island, but I think some spots were more popular than others. Like the West Tip is usually very, very crowded on the 4th of July, and everybody knows that. So that's where a lot of people park because they want to be around other people. And the East End's a little more, there's not as many people, but there's still a lot of boats out there. I mean, it's not like every area of Horn Island is covered 100%.
Okay.
Wow. So you get out there, y'all jump out. What do? You know, when I say jump out, you obviously not just sitting on the boat. The island is there. Like, what exactly are people doing there? Like, are you
What
spending
activities are you doing?
more time in the water, on the island, in the boat? Like, how is that? How does that look out there?
I mean, everybody, as soon as you get there, I mean, there's people on boats, grabbing drinks and, food, whatever else. Like, I mean, everybody is fully prepared for the 4th of July. They bring, all the drinks and food that they need because, I mean, they've been preparing for 4th for a little while now. But when we got there, I helped my buddies tie the boats up because the tie line was right here, the Palm Beach was in the middle, and then the Triton was on the outer side. And
Wait.
We were
hold on. I just want to get, sorry for pausing this, but I want to get the order of how the boats were because we now know there's 3 boats. Okay. We know all 3 boats. Let's get the order, how they were.
The tie line was right here, the Palm Beach was in the middle, and then the Triton was on the outer side. And
okay.
There was about a drop off from where the bow was. I mean, if you jumped off the bow, you were probably about neck deep in water. But if you got off the stern, you were probably waist deep in water. I mean, but when we got there, we tied up, got, bow and rear anchor set, and we tied up all the boats, made sure they were good, and everyone just got on the water. And then eventually, next thing you know, it's our group. And then, next thing you know, there's 50 other people around us. And then it just grew and grew as the day came on. And, I mean, that's just how it was. Everybody's drinking, I mean, it's 4th of July. Everyone's just trying to enjoy themselves. And, it's a big party, basically. Big party.
Yeah. So y'all pretty much having a good time. Just like anybody would imagine, 18-year-olds, probably 20-year-olds, college students out on the island, women, you probably had alcohol. So y'all having a good time.
Yeah, of course.
And so where's Nolan in this? You guys out there, the friend groups are out there, 3 boats full of people that came out there that seem to be the closest friend group.
Right.
Where is Nolan in this in comparison to where you and others are at?
Well, I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. They in a group. I was not focused on anyone solely.
Okay, I'm going to pause this because we have some questions here. The question was, he was on the little boat. Who is he? Are you talking about Nolan? Is Nolan? Nolan wasn't tight with anyone there. He was on the little boat, you're asking? So Warren was on the little boat. Yes. Warren was on Bart's boat, which is called Palm Beach. Okay. Wyatt was driving the 22 Triton. The 22 Triton is where Nolan was, that Wyatt was driving. Now, again, Warren was on the smaller boat. Warren was on Bart. His name is Bart. The friend name is Bart. Nolan was on Wyatt's boat. Okay, it's called the 22 Triton. And there is also a third boat. It's a 24 Tideland, which held 10 to 15 people. That was the bigger boats. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. He's leaking. If you listen to people long enough, you will be able to catch. Amy, we have to go down that rabbit hole, Amy. I agree with you, Amy. No one is ruled out. No one is ruled out. Yeah, big party, lots of people around. Thousands. Thousands, they say. Hello? Can you guys see me? Hello? Hello? Oh no. Can you guys see me? Hello? Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I hope you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? I'm so sorry. Yeah, big party, big party. Let's continue with this interview before my computer crashes. Okay, let's go. Not now. Yeah? Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's continue before something crazy happens here. We're almost done with this interview. Okay. Again, 3 boats, and the way they were situated according to Warren, we had the small boat in the center. The boat where he was at, the very small boat was in the center, and the 2 bigger boats on each of the side. Okay?
Like looking and pointing anyone out because there's so many people out there. I mean, I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, everybody my age and even people older than us were, over there. Like, I mean, it was just a regular thing. We're all used to this. We've been out to the islands before. My buddies don't just go out to the island on 4th of July, but they go out, every weekend. Like I fish the islands. I don't just, fish around Horn Island. I fish around Ship Island too. So I'm very familiar with the islands. And I feel like it was just a big, I talked to Nolan and, Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And I mean, Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him.
This is the first time we hear about Nolan drinking. Okay. I mean, we kind of had that idea that he was. I mean, they're kids, 4th of July. It's expected, right? You're expecting that. We do see adults. We see some adults. If you look at footage of the island, you do see some adults. Hopefully there were adults watching these kids. Obviously not these. They weren't, because I don't know. Let's continue.
We had just regular conversations, and Nolan was making me laugh. I had a couple conversations with Nolan and Javon, Nolan and my buddy James, Nolan, and I mean, I could tell you. I mean, I talked to Nolan a couple times, but it wasn't like I was strictly sitting there talking to Nolan the whole day. I mean, there was hundreds of people I knew out there. So
yeah, and Nolan said something interesting. You told me about this. Something he said to you, I would say would be indicative of y'all's friendship.
Right.
And then he also mentioned something to you about that particular day and what it meant to him.
Right.
And could you share that?
Right. Yeah. So Nolan and my buddy Javon are talking, and I grew up with Nolan, and Nolan's just like I said, like just so joyful, like always happy. Like every picture I have with Nolan or picture I have of Nolan, he's smiling. I mean, like he's always happy. If I always need like a shed of light, I'm calling Nolan, and Nolan and I laugh and joke a lot. Like that's how our friend group is. We're really jokingly laugh. No one takes anything that serious. We enjoy our time together. I mean, there's never any awkwardness within our friend group. We're very, very tight. So if I ever need to get something off my chest or talk to anybody, I'm talking to all my friends. I'm not just talking to like specifically anybody. I would go out, like even if I'm having.
He's saying too much here. And when people are like going on and on about something like this, like he's emphasizing this. He's trying to make a point about this. I'm taking it as the opposite. So whatever he's saying is in fact the opposite. I want to listen again to this. He's going on and on about if there's an issue, if there's any awkwardness, I would not basically he's saying that he will speak to all the friends as a group. Like, if there's a problem, we're all talking as a group. We're not going to what's the word? We're not going to like go into little cliques, you know. We're all going to speak as friends, as one group. I'm taking this to mean the opposite because I'm sensing something here. Let's replay it. Ready?
To you about that particular day and what it meant to him.
Right.
And could you share that?
Right. Yeah. So Nolan and my buddy Javon are talking, and I grew up with Nolan, and Nolan's just like I said, like just so joyful, like always happy. Like every picture I have with Nolan or picture I have of Nolan, he's smiling. I mean,
so he begins by saying that Nolan and Javon were talking, but then he does not continue on with the story. You guys understand what I'm saying? Let's hear that again. He starts the story with Nolan and Javon talking, but he does not continue on with that story. Let's go back and listen. Listen. Ready?
Of y'all's friendship.
Right.
And then he also mentioned something to you about that particular day and what it meant to him.
Right.
And could you share that?
Right. Yeah. So Nolan and my buddy Javon are talking. And
see, Nolan and my buddy Javon. Notice how everything's my buddy, my buddy. It's not our buddy. So I get the sense that perhaps they're not mutual friends, or are they not mutual friends? You know, because he keeps saying my buddy. When he refers to Wyatt, Wyatt is his buddy. When he's referring to Bart, Bart is his buddy, my buddy Bart, my buddy Wyatt, my buddy Javon. So are these friends not buddies of Nolan's as well, is my question. Now, he starts this off by saying, so Nolan and my buddy Javon are talking. But he doesn't finish off this story. Let's continue.
And, I grew up with Nolan, and Nolan's, just like I said, like just so joyful, like always happy. Like every picture I have with Nolan or picture I have of Nolan, he's smiling. I mean, like he's always happy. If I always need like a shed of light.
Okay, Hunter Johnson, relax, Hunter Johnson.
I'm calling Nolan, and Nolan and I laugh and joke a lot. Like that's how our friend group is. We're really jokingly laugh. No one takes anything that serious. We.
Okay, so then explain this incident then with Javon. Finish what you're saying. Okay, we get it. Nolan is smiling. Nolan is joking. Nolan is no. We get it. We get it. Now go back to what you were talking about. You were specifically saying that Nolan and Javon were talking. Talk to me. Tell me the story.
We enjoy our time together. I mean, there's never any awkwardness within our friend group. We're very, very tight. So if I ever need to get something off my chest or talk to anybody, I'm talking to all my friends. I'm not just talking to like specifically anybody.
You see how he's just like going on and on. It starts with the smiling, the joking. Now he's like, if I'm going to talk to my friends, I'm not just talking to like specifically anybody. I'm talking to everyone. Why is he bringing this up right after he was about to tell us a story about Nolan and Javon talking? And then you hear all this fucking nonsense, and then you hear all of this stuff. Where are you going with this, my guy? Where are you going with this?
I would go out, like even if I'm having issues with something, I go talk to my group chat. And
there you go. Issues. That's a negative word right there. Issues. I think that's the first negative word he has said in this interview. He mentions issues. He mentions issues after Javon and Nolan were talking. Okay, you guys? I am sensing that there was something happening here. Let's continue.
My guys are there to, give me a hand anytime I need it. And all my guys are, all my buddies are the same exact way. Nolan.
Everything's my guys. Everything's my buddies. Everything's my. Quite territorial, aren't you there? Yeah, very territorial here.
Was the same exact way. If you ever need something, I'm here, man. Like that's how he was. So.
And then you guys get ready to leave prematurely.
Wait. But he never tells us then. What? He doesn't tell us. He starts this entire, what do you want to call that? Like yada, yada, yada stuff, right? About Nolan smiling, Nolan, my buddy, my friends. But he starts off with Javon and Nolan are talking, and he doesn't complete his story. He doesn't complete his story. I will rewind it. Look, you guys, I'm not making shit up. He was going to tell us a story about Nolan and Javon. Ready?
About this. Something he said to you, I would say would be indicative of y'all's friendship.
Right.
And then he also mentioned something to you about that particular day and what it meant to him.
Right.
And could you share that?
Right. Yeah. So Nolan and my buddy Javon are talking, and you know, I grew up with Nolan.
See? Nolan and my buddy Javon are talking. And then he goes on to this extra shit. But he never finishes the story.
And Nolan's, you know, just all, like I said, like just so joyful, like always happy. Like every picture I have with Nolan or picture I have of Nolan, he's smiling. I mean, like he's always happy. If I always need like a shed of light, I'm calling Nolan, you know. And Nolan and I laugh and joke a lot. Like that's how our friend group is. We're really jokingly laugh. You know, no one takes anything that serious. You know, we enjoy our time together. You know, I mean, there's never any awkwardness within our friend group. We're very, very tight. So if I ever need to get something off my chest or talk to anybody, I'm talking to all my friends. I'm not just talking to like specifically anybody. I would go out, like even if I'm having issues with something, I go talk to my group chat, and my guys are there to, you know, give me a hand anytime I need it. And all my guys are, you know, all my buddies are the same exact way. You know, Nolan was the same exact way. If you ever need something, I'm here, man. Like that.
He separated his buddies and Nolan. Bro, these linguistic classes are paying off. He separated his buddies and Nolan. Did you guys catch that? Listen. He separated his buddies and Nolan. Check this out.
I would go out, like even if I'm having issues with something, I go talk to my group chat, and my guys are there to, you know, give me a hand anytime I need it. And all my guys are, you know, all my buddies are the same exact way. You know, Nolan was.
All my buddies are the same exact way.
It's the same exact way.
And Nolan,
if you ever need something, I'm here, man. Like that's how he was. So.
And then you guys get ready to leave prematurely.
Right.
And like, what? Explain that, because you guys got there around 10.
Yeah.
It's now 4:30.
Right.
People are still out there partying and
Correct.
they're having a good time, but something happened to where it necessitated you guys to get the boat up and running. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So.
All right, part 2 coming soon. I mean, he left it off on a cliffhanger, you know. Yes, we want to get to that part. Now, I need to get to work. I need to get to work. I'm coming back tonight. I'm coming back tonight because there's other things that I wanted to accomplish on this live that I am unable to accomplish. Time got away from me. But the other things that I want to go over, like I said, was that boat clip. Now that we know there's 3 boats, let's go over the boat clips. Let's see that footage that they keep showing. TMZ has footage of that. Let's also listen to the call again, once again. And also, I want to go over the press conference one more time about the phone and the keys. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Thank you all. Steal better content. What are you talking about? In my opinion, there was more than one fight that day on that island. Drunken stupidity. Yeah, you hear it. You hear it on the footage, Amy. You hear there's fights happening, okay? The host is running 2 simultaneous lives. This one is for phone watchers. There is another one for laptops. Thank you, Blue Devil. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you guys being here at Mods. Shout out to Mods. Shout out Amy. Shout out Blue. And I hope Lucy Goosey. Thank you for coming. Thank you for checking in. And one more mod I'm missing. Jules, I hope you feel better, my love. Thank you all for joining. Have a good day. Have a good day, everyone. Peace out.